So now that we've unboxed the regular Blackwidow, we're going to bust out the old fallback of mechanical keyboards, the DOS keyboard. We actually have the DOS X, or the Ultimate S, sorry, which is going to give you the blank keycaps that are actually pretty popular with some of the gamers, mainly for the quote elite factor. Pull this out here. The DOS S keyboard is also going to be using cherry blue switches, and it's going to have the PS2 adapter, which is going to give you N-key rollover. What that means, N-key rollover, is that you're going to be able to hit as many keys on the keyboard as you want, and they're all going to go through. This is a feature that the Razer keyboards are not going to have, primarily because the Razers only run through USB, which is going to have, they use what's called gaming cluster rollover, meaning that the WASD, that block of keys, is set on a separate block, so that if you hold down WASD, you shouldn't have any ghosting issues with the rest of the keyboard. Okay, so closing that. And as you can see, the DOS keyboard, again, it has the blank keycaps, nice clicky cherry blues, and it's also got the shiny body that everyone seems to like so much, that tracks fingerprints and dust like the Horde. Then finally, we've got the Big Daddy, the Razer Blackwidow Ultimate. It's going to be in the same price category as the DOS keyboard. Basically, you gain the backlighting feature with this, and in addition to the backlighting feature, you also gain an inline headset and microphone jack, as well as an integrated USB port on the side that you can use, presumably for either a mouse or more likely a headset if you have a USB-based headset. Again, you get the nice Razer packaging, and as you can see here, the cord is significantly thicker. I would say it's about 2 to 3 times as thick as the standard Blackwidow keyboard, but it's about the same. No, it's a little bit thinner than the DOS keyboard. So out of the 3, the Blackwidow is going to have the thinnest keyboard, or the thinnest cord on it, the most flexible, followed by the DOS keyboard, and finally by the Razer Blackwidow Ultimate Edition. Again, the Blackwidow is going to have the 2 flip outs, same as they're basically the same keyboard. This one's just got the backlighting and the additional ports on the side here. The DOS keyboard, again, it goes with a more standard 4-block approach, and it does flip out as well, so you can raise that up if you're inclined to do so. We do have one last keyboard. This is the tried and true Razer Lycosa, I believe, and as you can see, the owner, Mark, has done some modifications to it. A little bit of ripping off of keys, you know, whatever suits his fancy. So that's going to be our membrane keyboard, the old style that we're going to be comparing these mechanical keyboards against. Now, one thing that all 3 of these keyboards have in common are cherry blue switches. Now we're going to take our handy dandy key puller here and give you a show of the key switches in each of these keyboards. So we're going to go down in here, and you pull the key right off, and you can get a clear view of that blue switch. And the switch is what's making that clicking noise, and that's going to be what you're pushing down. Each one of these keys has its own dedicated switch, so you're not going to have to worry about any type of, you know, you have one key go bad, the whole keyboard goes out. Alright, going over to the DOS again, we're going to pull off the same key here. And again, that cherry blue switch. Now, the DOS keyboard cherry blue is a little bit clickier than the Blackwidow's, and that goes for all the keys on it. Primarily because Razer has gone through the painstaking process of hand selecting each key to find the keys that have a shorter distance of articulation, so they're going to be a little bit shorter click to them. The depth of travel on this is noticeably different from the Blackwidow. Not to say that the key doesn't go down as far, but it clicks closer to the top of the keystroke. Again, on the Ultimate, we're going to go down, get the same kind of action here, just to get that blue keycap to show, and this one's fighting against me. There There it is. And with this you can actually see you still have the cherry blue switch, and then you have this little LED here, which is going to provide the backlighting for the keyboard. Again, same idea. The switch sounds are pretty close to the same. And then for all of you at home, most of you, if you don't know what a mechanical keyboard is, then this is what you've got. This is going to be the old membrane style keyboards. As you can see here, the key style is a lot different. You don't have that little blue peg there, which is showing you the mechanical switch. What happens is that little dome there gets pushed down by the key, so there's not as much feedback from it, and you have to bottom the key out in order to get the keystroke. Now we're going to look at all the keycaps here. Well, we can put the DOS keyboard keycap away, and just because the DOS keyboard doesn't have anything on the keycaps to really show you. Now you look at the Razer standard Blackwidow versus the Ultimate Edition, you're going to see that the Ultimate Edition has a little bit different build to it. That's so that you can get the backlighting to shine through the key. Now what they did here on top, there's actually a laser engraved letter, which means that they actually take a laser, they etch this letter out, and then they pour resin in to fill in the letter. They use the same method here. You can actually feel the key, and it's actually going to be have a little bit of a raised feel to it, and it's going to be, I wouldn't say it's sticky, but you're not going to slip off of the Ultimate key, whereas the Ultimate key versus the Blackwidow key, which is a little more of a standard finish to it. Finally, we have the acoustic key here, and as you can see, this is actually just a regular plastic key like you'd find in a laptop, and it's see-through. If I move this over, darker objects, you're going to see the key change. You're going to see the light shine through it. Again, achieving the backlighting. So out of the three keycaps, these two are going to hold the letter the longest. And if you come back over here, I can show you the X key here. Or rather, it was the X key. And you can see that it's completely worn through. That will not happen with the Blackwidow, the DOS keyboard, or the Blackwidow Ultimate. Now, we're going to get some noise action tests going here with these keyboards, just so you can hear the noise differences. Now, these are all using cherry blues, so there's not going to be a whole lot of difference in the noise level from keyboard to keyboard except the mechanicals. Alright, so starting down at the end again, this is the standard Blackwidow, or the standard Blackwidow. And gaming cluster keys. And it's very easy to tell when the key is coming down, when it's connecting, when it's sending that signal through. We're going to move on to the DOS keyboard again. Alright, and it's the same kind of noise. It's almost actually louder than the Blackwidow. You can really feel the articulation. It's a harder hitting key. It feels a little stiffer, but it's still really nice to type on, and it's got that feel that you know exactly what's going to hit and when it's going to hit. So and gaming cluster. Alright, and that's the DOS keyboard Ultimate S. Finally moving on to the Blackwidow here, the Ultimate Edition again. About the same noise level as the standard edition. No complaints. It's not too loud. It's not so loud that it's going to wake you up at any rate. Alright, and again, the gaming cluster. So not too bad. If you're in a quiet room, your wife's probably not going to like it. Finally, going to the membrane keyboard. Now this is going to be the one that's actually kind of surprising, because in my opinion, this is the loudest of the three keyboards. Or four keyboards, rather. Mainly because I hit the keys pretty freaking hard. So if you listen here, it's almost got a rattling sound to it. It's not kind of the same, you know, precision click that you get. I just don't like the way it sounds. I mean, after typing on a mechanical keyboard for, you know, a day or two, you do feel it's a lot cheaper. And I mean, you can definitely tell the difference between a mechanical keyboard and the membrane keyboard. And your hands actually will start to get tired more quickly typing on a membrane keyboard once you've gotten used to the mechanical. The other neat thing, especially about the Razer and the DOS, now if you look at this keyboard from the side, you can see that the keys are going to be completely flat. This is a laptop style layout. This was done for cost-cutting reasons. It's not very ergonomic, and it doesn't take into account the fact that when your hands are on the home row, you're reaching back and your key should be a little bit higher so you can hit it easier. Same thing with the top. It doesn't take that curve into effect where it should be a little more like this rather than a flat surface. Okay. Now looking at the Blackwidow, you can see it's got the tiered keys again. Even when it's laying flat, it's going to be fairly obvious that it's curved to conform a little bit better to your fingers, and it's going to feel a little bit nicer when you're typing because you don't have to reach down quite as far and not as much stress on your knuckles. Now, out of the three keyboards, if you're looking for something to type on, by far the Ultimate S is going to be the best. You can almost see there's a full curve on this keyboard that makes it very nice for typing. So overall, out of the three keyboards, I would say for gaming, the Razer editions have shorter key throws and a little bit more articulated key presses. So when you're hitting those keys, you don't have to click down as far to hit the key. You don't have to lift as much, that kind of thing. So if you're doing MMOs, I would say it's really nice, especially with macro keys mapped, especially on the Razers. It's going to be really nice. If you're looking for something to type on, or something clicky because you like the old Model M's, the DOS keyboard is going to be the way to go by far. It's a much more comfortable keyboard to type on. It's got a much smaller footprint. If you look at this next to the Razer, I mean, it cuts off about a ½ inch off of the desk width and about a solid 2 inches off of the height of the keyboard. Not including this bezel, which makes it about even, but for the most part it does take up less space on your desk. The other nice thing is that the DOS keyboard is going to come with 2 USB ports on the side, whereas the Blackwidow Ultimate is going to come with 1 USB port and 1 headphone jack, 1 mic jack, and finally the Blackwidow Ultimate, or Blackwidow Standard, is going to come with nothing at all. It just picks up a USB port. So that's going to be the 3 mechanical keyboards that we're reviewing today.